So after recording the last episode, I was talking about the slippery slope and compromises and kind of leading down the path of, getting off track with the things that you want to do. And so I'm still in the process of like figuring out what it is that I want to do. Well, no, that's not right. I'm still in the process of regaining momentum and getting myself back to where I want to be. I'm on a good path now, but at the same time, I'm trying to think, what exactly do I need to do to achieve these goals that I'm trying to achieve in all these different areas? So I have all these different moving parts and all this kind of shit that I want to do. So I'm trying to scale Machine Studio. I'm also trying to get back into graph and sort of, not relive the glory days or anything crazy like that. I just want to be active again and progressing. And I just want to see progress in that area. And so I'm trying to get more active in that, and then super serious about personal development and learning. And like I said in other episodes, I'm trying to learn about spirituality and shit like that, try to get myself better, trying to make sure I'm the best possible person I can be in my relationship with Jesse. And then on top of that, I want to do more for the graph culture. I want to get more consistent on this podcast. So it's like, there's all these moving parts, and it's kind of like this weird thing where like I could be excelling in one area and then another area is falling off and shit like that. But then after the last episode, I realized one of the things that I had said was, when you compromise in one area, it makes it easy to compromise in other areas. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, I was getting complacent in a lot of areas in my life. And I'm not trying to beat myself up about it. I'm not trying to make this like a fucking pity party, because I don't operate like that. And I know I'm working hard. I know I'm doing a lot of things. And so I do cut myself some slack. But at the same time, when I really evaluate myself and I do it honestly and really audit my time and like, how am I spending my time? How am I spending my energy? Who am I giving my energy to? And all these kind of things. I see a ton of holes in my game, and I think that's healthy, to audit yourself and just see if you're honest with yourself. There's probably so much shit going on that you just know you're doing. So anyway, what it got me to thinking about was kind of along the lines of something that Marcus Aurelius Anderson said when he was on the show a little while back. I believe it was, there's only one level of commitment, and that's total. I thought that was just so cool, because it's like, I find myself, when I'm doing something, I'll commit to it, but at the same time, I find myself kind of more dabbling a little bit. I don't know if that's the right word, but I had this idea in my head. I'm like, am I dabbling in this shit, or am I doing my best to dominate in that area? So it was like, if I look at graffiti, obviously I have had times in my life when dominating was what I was trying to do, but at the same time, it's like realistic what you're up against, So like in my day, when I was the most active, I'm never going to be as active as somebody like GK or some of those kind of people. Like that's not really. So I guess when I think about dominating, it's like, am I pushing myself as hard as I possibly can to the best of my ability within the sort of boundaries that I have set for myself? So when I was into bombing and all that sort of stuff, there was certain boundaries that I wasn't going to do. Like I wasn't going to hang off of bridges. I wasn't going to do any of those kind of Daredevil spots. I had tried a couple of them, and I just knew on the last one, I was like, this is not for me. This is for some other people. And I think if I try to keep forcing myself to do this stuff, it's going to kill me. There's an episode where Cub and I talk about this, and he has, I think it was called Gut Feeling. It's way back, but he tells a story about something like that too. But anyway, that's not really what I wanted to talk about. But so what I'm trying to think of now is like, I need to set, I'm throwing this whole idea of balance out the window, outside of like, I'm not going to ruin my relationship to achieve the things I want to do. But outside of that, I need to go into like a season of complete and total imbalance, meaning I got to be so fucking hyper committed to to be dominant in all those areas that I listed and pour as much resources as I possibly can into those things. And I have a feeling that that's what I need to do, at least for the next 3 months or something like that. I remember Alex Hormozy said something like that on one of his episodes. And I took a bunch of notes on it. He was talking about, he went into like this season of no, where he was like hyper disciplined on really not saying yes to anything that was outside of what he was trying to do. And so that's kind of along the lines that I'm thinking. I'm trying to create a system that I can be hyper disciplined and making sure everything gets handled in all of these areas. So I'll just run through. I didn't write anything down, so this may be a little jumbled, but I'm going to run through sort of what I plan to do, and maybe that might help some other people that may be struggling with this, and maybe you can kind of create your own sort of hyper disciplined kind of plan for yourself. So I did a lot of thinking about graffiti and all this kind of stuff, and like, what is it that I'm prepared to do, and what is it that I could actually commit to doing that won't fuck with my other stuff. So I mean, so what I've done is I've committed one day a week. Every Sunday I'm going to paint something, and I've told Jesse this. I put it on my schedule that I don't have to be at the studio on Sunday, and I've sort of imprinted my brain that that's something that's just going to happen. So if I do that every single week, then that'll be significantly more painting than I've probably done in the last decade, or maybe even more. I don't know. I don't know that I ever stuck to like a really strict schedule. So that's what I plan to do. If I paint every single week, and I'm also trying to sketch something every day. So and it doesn't have to be this brand new thing. I don't have to spend all this fucking time. Like, I just have to draw something every day. So if I do a sketch of some letters that I've already drawn, I'm good. I've achieved that commitment. And then on Sunday, I got to paint something. And so if I don't have any time, I'll just go somewhere and do a throwy and get that in, and whatever it is, I'm committed to doing that. Then for health, I was working out 6 days a week because I'm doing this program, but I'm noticing that's kind of a problem for me. I really need to be doing something 7 days a week, because I have this like, it's like all in or out, all out kind of thing. Like that one day off, it fucks with me. And I know there's benefits to it. So I think on the 7th day, I'm probably just going to take that day, and I'll walk or something to where my body can still have that recovery day. But at the same time, it's like that I just need to go all in. Like, that's how it works. That's really how my brain works, especially in that area. So like, if I say I'm going to work out 6 days a week, and I don't know, what I end up doing is I kind of move that day around. I don't know. It's stupid. It's like one day I'll take Tuesday off, and then the next week I'll take Sunday off. And I don't know. It just leads to compromise for me. So I'm just going to work out 7 days a week. So every single day I'm going to get something done. And the goal is to knock that out first thing in the morning so that it's done, because something that I've learned about myself is I do have a tendency to not want to work out in the morning. And then I say, well, as soon as I get home, I'll do a workout, but then I'll get home and then I'm hungry or some shit. Anyway, it doesn't get done. So the other commitment is 7 days a week of 6 days a week of a workout. And the 7th day will be sort of like resting recovery, which is like walking or something like that. So 7 days a week of work. I got to commit to the diet. I mean, I don't want to call it, I mean, it is a diet technically, but commit to the kind of eating habits that I normally do, and not deviate from those, at least for the next 3 months. So I'm talking about, like, what if you set up a hyper disciplined 3-month timeline? That's 3 months in the course of your whole life. You can change so much shit in that amount of time if you get hyper disciplined. So with work and scaling my business, it's the power list. I got to do 5 critical tasks every day, and I'm going to be much more committed to winning every single day, because the slippery slope thing hits there too. So like, I remember I think I had this really long streak, because if you get your 5 critical tasks done, then you can write a W next to the page. And so what I was doing to kind of see what my streak was is every time I get a win, I write the number of the streak that I'm on. And I ended up at one point, I think I'll have to go through my book, but I think I ended up having a streak of like 30 something days in a row where every single day I won. And then there was one day where I compromised, and I was like, I don't remember how it came up. I don't know. Maybe I sort of forgot a task and I realized it the next day. But anyway, I got a loss. And ever since that happened, it was so much easier to take another loss, because the streak was, by the time the streak gets long, like after 5-10 days in a row, it implants some shit into your mind. You're like, I really don't want to break this streak. So you're more, at least for me, you're more, on top of it to make sure you get all those tasks done. And so I found after getting that one loss for the day, it was just so much easier to, if I get to the point where, it's getting kind of late and I still have one more task and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take a loss. And every time you do that, it just chips away at your discipline. Like it just pushes you further down the slope, And so I need to get committed to winning every single day and not compromising. And if I do happen to lose, like it happens, I got to make sure that that's not opening up the door to allowing more losses later. And so for this podcast, I mean, if you're a regular listener, I don't know how people consume content these days. So I don't know if you expect it to come out a certain day. I don't know, maybe let me know, send me an email or hit me up on social, because I'm actually kind of curious about that. Like, do you guys listen? I know this show is very inconsistent, but like if you have a show that is consistent, do you expect it to come out at a certain time, like at a certain time every week? Or do you just sort of listen to it whenever you get to it? That's how I consume content. So I think that's part of why I've allowed my mind to let it be easier to sort of put this shit out whenever I get to it. So for this podcast is really important to me. So I'm going to get a lot more discipline. I'm going to record on the same day. I'm going to edit on the same day. I'm going to release them on the same day every week at the same time. Like that's the goal. That's the level of commitment that I'm getting to. And so I know those are all like personal to me, but I think those kind of things can be applicable to other people. I just, I don't know how else to explain it other than giving examples. So it's just like, if you have a goal and you want to get to a certain place, I personally don't see anything wrong with having a period of time with absolutely no balance or very, very little balance. A lot of people talk about balance, and I feel like it tends to sort of allow too much compromise and too much balance in the wrong direction. And it's not, I don't know. A lot of times it doesn't seem to be balanced. You hear people talking about balanced eating, but they're 100 pounds overweight. And it's like, that's not balanced. And like, for me, I haven't been balanced eating. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I don't know. I think that a period of time of imbalance in terms of being hyper disciplined and focused on the shit you want to achieve and spending as much of your resources as you possibly can to make that stuff happen, I can see that being beneficial for a period of time. I mean, I understand that committing to doing that shit every single day for the rest of your life and never taking a break and all that kind of stuff, I understand that's not really healthy. I understand that, but maybe you could do that for a period of time. Enter a period of time where you're just like, you tell everybody around you, just like, look, I need this amount of time to fucking get this shit done, whatever it is. For me, I need to get my body to a place where I'm happy, my mind to a place where I'm somewhat satisfied, I guess, in a better place than it is now. I have to get my business to a certain place. I have to get consistent on this podcast. I got to get consistent on graffiti, and all while doing all of that shit, I need to make sure that my relationship with Jesse is strong. actually the top priority. But if I get all of this other stuff in order, that's automatically going to help in that area too. I'm going to be a much better person. So I don't know if that's helpful. I hope it is. So I'm out. I don't know what else to say. Later. All right.
Appreciate each and every one of you guys who are supporting the cause and continue to spread the love. And yeah, stay up.